You're listening to the Learn English Through Football podcast. We hope you're all well. My name's Damien and welcome to another podcast for fans of football who wish to improve their English language skills. I'm one half of the LanguageCaster team, and we're spread across the globe with me in Tokyo and Damien in London. Today it's just me, and I'll be reviewing the Champions League final 2020 by focusing on some key football phrases. If you want to revisit the preview to the final that Damien posted, just come along to languagecaster.com and subscribe to our podcast, or just download the show.
Sie hören gerade languagecaster.com.
Yes, you are listening to languagecaster.com, and that message was in German. Send us a message in your language too. Just contact us here at admin@languagecaster.com. And please think about supporting what we do via patreon.com/languagecaster. We'll have a language learning quiz based on today's show on Patreon for our supporters there later in the week. Right, let's get started. The season finale, the climax to the 2019-2020 European season, the Champions League final took place on Sunday at the Estádio da Luz, Lisbon in Portugal. And we should congratulate Bayern Munich, who Damien tipped to win 3-1 on becoming European champions with a 1-0 win. The final was a rarity, slightly unusual, as the two finalists, PSG and Bayern Munich, were the champions of their respective leagues. This hadn't happened since 1998, over 20 years ago. That time it was La Liga champions Real Madrid and Serie A champions Juventus. So, congratulations again to Bayern for winning this unusual all-champions Champions League final.
I'm Otofumi Komori. I'm a fan of Bayern Munich. You are listening to LanguageCast.com.
Okay, I said I was going to talk about some of the football language that can explain what happened in the game, and I'm going to start with end to end. A lot of pundits were surprised at how open the first 30 to 40 minutes of the game were. Open means that both teams were quite positive and attacking. The action moved from one end of the pitch to the other. It was an end-to-end game. Now, while it was open and end-to-end, it wasn't frantic or helter-skelter, which would mean much more chaotic. Next, floated cross. Now, the momentum swung in Bayern's favour in the second half in the 59th minute when Joshua swung in a floated cross to the far post for Coman to head home. The cross was hit delicately but with accuracy and stayed in the air a long time. This kind of cross is a floated cross. It was also pinpoint, very accurate, as it went over all the PSG defenders and was the perfect height for Coman to plant a header into the far corner. Now, a planted header is a header deliberately placed. The player knows where they want the ball to go. So, Bayern were 1-0 up with 30 minutes to go. Next, didn't take their chances. Now, PSG did have chances in this game, particularly in the first half. In the first 20 minutes, Mbappe and Neymar both had shooting chances inside the box, with Neymar's close-range effort parried, stopped by Neuer. And Mbappe was given a gilt-edged chance on 45 minutes, but his shot was tame. A gilt-edged chance is a great chance, a golden chance, and a tame effort is a weak shot. In the second half, a lovely cutback from Di Maria for Marquinhos was missed. It was a half chance, but a good chance in the 6-yard box. But PSG didn't take their chances. They failed to use their opportunities. And last, high defensive line. Ultimately, Bayern were much-deserved winners, and their high defensive line, with their defence pushing right up to the halfway line, helped them control the game. This is the opposite of a low block, when a team sits back and has two lines of defenders in front of their own area. Along with the high defensive line, Bayern played a pressing game, which meant they quickly closed down any PSG player who had the ball. PSG could not build any pressure and relied on individual breaks from their stars to create chances, and as we've already talked about, PSG couldn't take their chances. So a wonderful, controlled win for Bayern, their 6th in this competition. They also won the treble, the domestic league, the domestic cup, and the Champions League, the European title. They were awesome in this competition.
皆さんはlanguagecaster.com を聞いています。
Okay, let's move on to the Women's Champions League. Last week we had a short podcast on the quarter-finals of the Women's Champions League tournament, which, like the men's competition, was to be played in one-off games with no spectators. The semi-finals are now decided, with favourites Lyon and Wolfsburg both going through. Wolfsburg thumping Glasgow 9-1, while Lyon saw off Bayern Munich 2-1. Revenge for their men's team, who lost against Bayern 3-0. Now, the semi-finals are an all-French affair with PSG versus Lyon, while in the other semi it is Germany, Wolfsburg versus last year's runners-up from Spain, Barcelona. These games will be played on the 25th and 26th. I'm going for a heavyweight final between Lyon, 6 titles, and Wolfsburg, 2 titles, with Lyon to win 2-1. So what do you think the score in the Women's Champions League will be? Come along to our site and put your predictions in, or just say hello. Participate in the polls. Ask or answer some of the questions on our forums, and just let us know what you think of the show. If you like what we do and would like to help us keep the site and podcasts, think about supporting us via patreon.com/languagecaster. All your support is warmly received. Okay, thanks everybody for listening to this shorter podcast about the Champions League final. Ta-ra!